it crossed my mind for sure that, well, look, my responsibility to my children is the highest responsibility I have. So nothing, I didn't do anything that's painful or destructive to them if I can help it.
Ben Affleck has finally had enough. After years of staying silent, he's finally speaking out, and the name at the center of the controversy is Blake Lively. According to insiders, Ben believes his involvement with Blake not only strained his marriage to Jennifer Garner, but also played a role in his downfall. Now, if you've been following Ben's personal life, you know his marriage to Jennifer Garner had its fair share of challenges. But what really happened on the set of The Town that pushed things over the edge? How did Jennifer figure it all out, and why is Ben deciding to talk about it now, over a decade later? To understand the full story, we need to rewind back to 2010. At the time, Ben Affleck was on top of the world. He had just come off the success of Gone Baby Gone as a director, and now he was taking things to the next level. But while the movie was a critical and commercial hit, one casting decision changed everything for Ben, not just professionally, but personally. That decision? Bringing Blake Lively into the film. At the time, Blake was still best known for Gossip Girl. She was young, ambitious, and eager to prove she could do more than just play a spoiled Upper East Side. But landing the role of Krista Coughlin, a troubled single mother with deep ties to Affleck's character, wasn't easy. Reports say she auditioned multiple times, desperate to convince the casting directors she could handle such a raw, dramatic role. And while the producers were hesitant, Ben wasn't. In fact, insiders say he was Blake's biggest supporter. He fought hard to get her cast, despite concerns that she wasn't the right fit. And here's where things get interesting, because it turns out Ben's insistence on casting Blake might not have been just about her acting skills.
Everything seemed happy on the surface. Things changed heavily relationship-wise in 2010 when Ben Affleck directed and also starred in the movie The Town and cast Blake Lively to be his girlfriend in the film. It was reported the casting did bother Jennifer Garner because both her and Ben Affleck were 38 years old at the time, while Blake Lively was just 23 years old, and there were a lot of scenes where Ben Affleck would be making out with her. To make it worse, Ben Affleck, who was the director of the movie, instructed Blake Lively to have several scenes where he makes out with her and also touches her body intensely. There's clearly no objection from Blake Lively, who said she got along very well with Ben Affleck, and the two did a media tour together where many people in the press noticed they were flirting intensely during interviews.
According to crew members on The Town, it was obvious from day one Ben and Blake had insane chemistry. And not just on-screen, sources claim, there was a certain tension between them, the kind that made people on set feel uncomfortable. At the time, Ben was married to Jennifer Garner and they had already started building their family. But despite that, whispers of his connection with Blake started circulating behind the scenes. Some crew members noticed them spending extra time together between takes. Others claim Ben would light up whenever Blake was around. Jennifer Garner, who had always been supportive of Ben's career, started feeling uneasy. She visited the set a few times and immediately sensed something was off. While Ben tried to brush it off as just being part of the job, Jennifer wasn't convinced. Her gut was telling her something wasn't right. But it wasn't until she got her hands on Ben's phone that she realized just how deep this connection with Blake really went. Jennifer found a series of messages between Ben and Blake that made it clear this wasn't just a director supporting his act. The texts weren't about script notes or film schedules, they were personal. Some sources claim the messages were flirty, while others suggest they hinted at something even more inappropriate. When Jennifer confronted Ben, he downplayed everything. He allegedly told her that the messages were just him getting into character and helping Blake with her role. But Jennifer wasn't buying it. The emotional connection between Ben and Blake was too obvious to ignore, and if that wasn't bad enough, things took an even more humiliating turn when the Town press tour started. Reporters began picking up on the chemistry between Ben and Blake, and their interviews only fueled speculation. Jennifer had to sit back and watch as the rumors spread, realizing that her marriage was slipping through her fingers, and that was just the beginning.
I heard there's some people, though, like Blake Lively, I heard, sort of didn't understand.
Blake, yes, is not 40. Blake is 21 or whatever she is, 22. She's a fabulous, as you can see, she's a gorgeous young woman. She was in The Town with me.
And such a great movie. I love that
Thank
movie.
you very much. And she was fabulous. Yeah.
If things were already tense behind the scenes, Ben and Blake didn't do much to quiet the rumors once the town hit theaters. Some interview clips even show Ben practically glowing whenever Blake spoke. He'd laugh at her jokes, look at her in a way that wasn't exactly co-star friendly, and sometimes even shift the conversation toward her, making sure she got the spotlight. For anyone paying attention, it was clear these two had something going on. But the worst part? Jennifer Garner had to watch it all play out in public. Already dealing with the rumors behind the scenes, she now had to see headlines speculating about her marriage every time she turned on the TV or opened a magazine, and according to sources, it was too much. Rumors said that Jennifer had a public breakdown after seeing footage of Ben and Blake together during the press tour, whether it was an argument with Ben, an emotional moment caught by paparazzi, or just the overwhelming stress of it all. Insiders claim that she hit a breaking point. She had spent years supporting Ben through his ups and downs, but now she was watching her husband openly flirt with another woman on a worldwide stage. But if you think the drama ended there, think again, because Blake wasn't done wrecking marriages just yet. Just as the buzz around the town started dying down, Blake found herself at the center of another Hollywood scandal, this time involving Ryan Reynolds. In 2010, Blake was cast as the female lead in Green Lantern alongside Ryan, who was still married to Scarlett Johansson at the time. And just like with Ben, it didn't take long for whispers about Blake and Ryan's off-screen chemistry to start making the round. While Green Lantern wasn't exactly a career-defining hit, one thing was clear: Blake and Ryan had gotten extremely close. Their flirtation was obvious, and sources say it didn't sit well with Scarlett. Unlike Jennifer Garner, Scarlett didn't even bother to show up to the movie's premiere, fueling rumors that things between her and Ryan were already falling apart, and sure enough, just a few months later, Ryan and Scarlett announced their divorce.
Like rumors that happened during filming The Town of Ben Affleck cheating on Jennifer Garner with Blake Lively, there were now new rumors of filming during Green Lantern of Ryan Reynolds cheating with Blake Lively on Scarlett Johansson. And that happened from members of the Green Lantern crew who leaked information to the press that Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively were leaving their trailers to go get a hotel room and stay together while filming.
Looking back, it seems Blake had a way of forming deep connections with her co-stars, especially when they were married. Whether it was pure coincidence or something more strategic, one thing was certain: she had a habit of getting close to powerful Hollywood men, and their relationships often didn't survive. And while Blake was busy upgrading her Hollywood status, Ben was left, and it wasn't long before his marriage completely fell apart. By now, Jennifer had endured years of public humiliation. She had stood by Ben through addiction struggles, career highs and lows, and now rumors of infidelity. But things only got worse. With his marriage falling apart, Ben began to unravel. He turned to drinking and gambling, two vices that had plagued him for years. Paparazzi started catching him at casinos looking rough, and reports of his reckless behavior started to pile up. But the final straw? The nanny scandal. In 2015, just as Jennifer and Ben announced their separation, reports surfaced that Ben had allegedly been involved with their children's nanny. Tabloids went wild with the story, painting Ben as the ultimate Hollywood cliché, the A-lister who couldn't resist the help. And while Jennifer never publicly commented on it, the damage was done. She had tried to hold on for the sake of their kids, but by 2018, their divorce was finalized. And now, years later, Ben is finally admitting the truth. Blake Lively played a major role in destroying his marriage.
And he said that I had blamed my ex-wife for my alcoholism, and that I was trapped in this marriage. Like, just made me out to be like the worst, most insensitive, stupid, awful guy. And look, I know people do this, I get it. Me, I'm happy to be sad Batman. I'm happy to be Dunkin' Donuts and the meme. I understand. Yeah.
Years have passed since The Town and Ben's marriage to Jennifer Garner officially ended, but here's the interesting part. Jennifer still keeps her distance from Blake Lively, and one of the biggest signs of this, her recent involvement in Deadpool and Wolverine. Jennifer Garner is reprising her role as Elektra in the upcoming film, which stars Ryan Reynolds, Blake's husband. husband. And yet, despite being in the same Hollywood circle, Jennifer reportedly made it clear that she didn't want to be part of any press appearances with Blake. Now let's break this down. Hollywood is a small world, and it's not unusual for stars to cross paths with people from their past. But Jennifer's refusal to be anywhere near Blake raises some serious questions. If everything that happened on the town set was just gossip, why would Jennifer still be avoiding her? Some insiders believe that Jennifer knows the full truth about what really went down between Ben and Blake, but rather than airing it out publicly, she's choosing to simply keep her distance. It's an unspoken grudge, and the fact that it's lasted for over a decade suggests that whatever happened was serious enough for Jennifer to never fully move past it. And she's not the only one, because Ben isn't the only person who has had issues with Blake on set. For years, Blake Lively has been praised for her America's sweetheart persona, always smiling, always poised, and seemingly the perfect Hollywood wife to Ryan Reynolds. But behind the scenes, there have been whispers that her polished image is just an image. Former co-stars and insiders have hinted at Blake's difficult behavior on set, with some even calling her a diva. Let's start with Gossip Girl. While the show turned Blake into a household name, multiple reports have suggested that not everyone was a fan of working with her. Leighton Meester, who played Blair Waldorf, reportedly had a tense relationship with Blake, with sources claiming that Blake wanted to be treated like the lead of the show and would sometimes distance herself from the rest of the cast. Then there's Armie Hammer, who worked with Blake on The Age of Adeline. During interviews, Armie was noticeably hesitant when discussing his experience filming with Blake, and while he never outright said anything negative, fans couldn't help but notice how he seemed to avoid praising her compared to other co-stars. And let's not forget the behind-the-scenes gossip from A Simple Favor. Rumors swirled that Anna Kendrick wasn't exactly best friends with Blake, with some crew members suggesting that Blake's attitude made filming more challenging than it needed to be. So is it possible that Blake's sweet girl persona is more of a carefully crafted illusion than reality? Hollywood is full of well-managed images, and Blake has played the PR game well. But with Ben speaking out and more people reflecting on past experiences with her, it seems like the cracks in her reputation might finally be showing. But what do you guys think? Did Blake really play a role in the downfall of Ben and Jennifer's marriage? Or was Ben always doomed to repeat history no matter what? Drop your thoughts in the comments!